Let's get to the word of the Lord then. We are back in the book of 1 Kings 18, verse 21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long will you halt between two opinions? If only for you. Miles, it's good to see you, man. Blessings on you. If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people didn't say anything. They answered not a word. We're dealing with living under an open heaven. 2024, ladies and gentlemen, God has declared it over our lives that it is the year the heavens open over us. When something is closed, it is inaccessible to you. And something, conversely, is open, it becomes accessible to you. So when God says we are under an open heaven, he is saying what was closed for you in this season of your life, God is now causing it to open up for you. That includes doors, that includes opportunities, things that didn't work for you previously. 2024 is supposed to be the year it's supposed to work for you. Areas you have failed in before now, God says revisit them, because this is the year I'm going to make you succeed in areas where you have failed before. I may be talking to someone who is maybe divorced and say, I ain't doing this again. And the Lord said to tell you, change your attitude and your mindset, because where you may not have had what you desired previously, God says, if you trust me as I open the heavens over your life, I will cause you to succeed in areas you once failed at. This is a word for somebody even now as I say it. Areas you cried in before, you will celebrate in now. I'm declaring over your life, and I just heard the Holy Spirit said, some of you cried over children, but you will rejoice over them now. Because areas that brought you sorrow, God is going to turn sorrow into joy and make sure you rejoice in those areas. Would somebody on the offset of this message show God how you going to act when he turns things in your favor? Would you show God how grateful you're going to be when he shows up and shifts things in your favor? I got an announcement for the devil that everything he meant for evil in your life, God says, I'm about to turn in your favor and cause you to see my glory. Heaven needs to hear your sound on this morning if you're ready for heaven to open in your life. At the time of this text, and I keep saying it because I want to keep this at the forefront of our minds. At the time of this text, rain, Israel had not experienced rain for 3.5 years. The nation was in famine. They were experiencing drought. Everything was drying up. Couldn't water their camels, couldn't feed their camels, couldn't water their crops. Rain at this time was a highly essential and necessary commodity for Israel. But at the time of the text, because they were an agricultural society, rain was inaccessible. They needed it, but couldn't get it. God had shut up the heavens over them, because their leader made an unholy alliance with a pagan priestess who was also a prominent queen by the name of Jezebel. You got to be careful who you let lead you in this season. Till the road you've trod leads unto your I want to be on a path that leads me to God. You know why I want a leader who leads me to God? Because when the leader can't, the God who the leader leads me to is still able. That's a good word for every husband in here today. Lead your family to God, so that when the doctor say, I don't know what to do for your child, you could look to the hills from whence cometh your help, because where men are limited, you serve a God with whom all things are possible. I wish I had a witness in here this morning. So Ahab was a weak leader. This could be an interesting morning. You all pray for me. Ahab was a weak leader. Now, some people are afraid of strong leaders. Strong leadership don't mean abusive leadership. To be a strong leader don't mean you have to dictate to people. Strong leadership don't even mean your mouth got to be big. Strong leadership means your convictions are strong. Strong leadership means you stand behind your values and you are not easily sold out. Strong leadership means this is what I stand for, and if all hell breaks loose, I'm going to continue to stand for what I believe. That's strong leadership. Strong leadership is I have a vision in front of me and I'm not letting anything detour or distract me from where I believe I'm supposed to be going. Watch this, in the best interest of the people who are following me. So we made an unholy alliance with a pagan priestess. Now watch this. You are the CEO of your life. So it doesn't matter who hold leadership titles around you, you lead your life. And you need to make sure you understand proper leadership so you could lead your life right. Because here's the thing, if you ain't leading your life right, you wouldn't know which leader to follow. Because when you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. But when you know where you are going, you know what to say no to. You know who not to associate with. You know what prayers to pray and not pray. But you have to know where you are going, so when someone is trying to take you in a direction that don't line up with what God showed you for your life, you can say, hell to the, that. He made an unholy alliance with this pagan priestess by the name of Jezebel. Watch this. Who operated in the spirit of control. Control. Watch people who want to control your life. You know the sad part about it? Some people who don't even have control of their own lives. Trying to dictate to yours. Because your title don't give you no right to dictate to my life. Because these days, people getting titles for all kind of reasons, even though they don't qualify for the title they have. So not because somebody's in a position means they got there legitimately and they should be able to direct your life. God does not even operate in control. He gave you a choice. And he sets before you blessing and curses, life and death. And he says, you choose which one you want. Now, I created you, but I created you in my image and in my likeness. So, and in creating you in my image and likeness, I gave you free will. Because if I take your choice, you cease to operate in my image and in my likeness. I give you the freedom to choose your own path, even if the path ain't good for you. Even if I don't like the path you taken. Even if the path you taken goes against what I planned for you. And I created you, and I don't even dictate to you. How could someone who have no responsibility for your being here tell you how to operate your life? Don't let no prophet do it. Don't let no prophetess do it. Don't let no bishop do it. Don't let no pastor do it. Don't let no apostle do it. And for the record, not even a spouse should seek to control your life. Because if the spouse can, then they're operating above God, and that is called idolatry. True love don't control anyway. True love inspires, motivates. And I declare over every marriage in this place that you're going to minister to your spouse, not because you have to, but because you love the fact that you get to. It's a privilege to serve one another. Jezebel operated in control. She operated in manipulation, intimidation, and in domination. Ahab, being a weak king, permitted her to influence him and thus all of Israel into attributing their agricultural success to an idol called Baal rather than to Jehovah. The people bought the lie, and they chose, watch this, an idol with ears but couldn't hear, eyes but couldn't see. You ever see people who look the part? Then when you really assess the reality, they far removed from what they project themselves to be. Baal was known as the god of fertility or the god of rain or prosperity. And they chose Baal because of Jezebel's influence over Jehovah. As a result, God shut up the heavens over Israel to show them who was their true source. Ladies and gentlemen, Baal is anyone or anything in your life seeking to replace God in your life. Say it one more time. Baal is, you got it, Pastor Fergs, Minister Fergs, Elder Fergs. Baal is anyone or anything, watch this, seeking to replace God in your life. Now, this could be boring today. Y'all ain't gonna like to hear what I have to say. Anyone seeking to take the credit for your progress and your success as if they are the source thereof. Now here's the curveball, including you. I hope you don't have a sister, brother Baal sitting on the side of you in church. Who's trying to take God's place? Act as if they are God and they're responsible for why? You doing well. And if you trying to take the credit for your own success, you is brother Baal. You is sister Baal. I expect the church to get quiet for a moment. If you permit Baal, idols, they will influence you into a place of famine with God, drought, and lack of productivity as it did with Israel during the time of our text. And Elijah told them, until y'all correct this and put God back in his place. Hallelujah. Help me preach, Lord. The heavens, which should be open over you, are going to remain closed over you. So watch this. You praying, and he ain't penetrating. And man, you know God used to answer your prayer. Watch this. Even when you was out there doing all kind of things, you would say, Lord, if you get me out of this one. Now, I want you all to be real in this church. I know you prayed that prayer before. Because I can tell you, I've been serving God from 9 years of age, and I prayed that prayer at least every 5 years. Serena over here saying, Pastor, you only prayed it every 5 years. I prayed it every other day. But how many you find yourself in a place where you know you ain't got no right to ask God for his help because you know you ain't been doing your part, but somehow you're dependent on the mercies of God and say, Lord, look past my stupidness and please bring me out of this pit. I don't want to talk to the self-righteous, got it all together people. I want to talk to some people who recognize that if God was not merciful toward you, you would have no right to be in this church right now. Yes. Yes. Appreciate you. Rest of the service is me and Ellington. Preach to him. I know some of y'all worship God out of your righteousness, but some of us have to worship God out of our brokenness because we know we don't deserve His goodness, His faithfulness. We know He's gracious and He's merciful and He look past. I don't mind them people sitting on the side of you trying to fool you. It ain't come out of their mouth. It don't mean it wasn't in their mind. And God deals with you. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. It ain't just what we externally see. It's the... Don't fool yourself to think you could really live up to the standards of God without God. So, there were times you prayed and didn't even deserve an answer. And God answered. Now you feel you deserve an answer and can't get one. Heaven's closed. Prayer ain't penetrating. Why? God ain't in first. He isn't a priority. He's an option. I only go to Him when I need Him. But I'm not intentional about my worship. Lord, I pray that you give us an intentionality when it comes to our relationship with you. Just as we're intentional about our work and our careers and our and everything else we have to do in our lives. Help us, Lord, not to fall into line, but to step into line because we made a premeditated choice that God is going to reign and rule over. Can I get a witness in the Lord's church? Now, if you like me, sometimes you say things you have to say, Lord, forgive me for saying that. You ever gossip for like half an hour, and then you walk away feeling dead bad about everything you say? You don't have to be honest and church. You're going to hell for lying anyway. She pointing at you. Watch out. Lord, I shouldn't say that. But the fact that you did it, but you still had this consciousness of God that what I was doing was not right, and Lord, I want to please you, and I'm sorry for what I said, speaks to the fact that God still has preeminence in your life, because there was a time you did it and didn't care. Your attitude was, I's my own man, I's my own woman, I can say what I want to say and do what I want to do. But when God takes first place in your life, even when you buck your toe, you got to say, Lord, that somebody else could walk away from it and feel nothing by it. They don't even care. But when the Holy Spirit is really reigning in your life, you will start to feel things about things you never felt before. I got to get up in the morning, don't go to church, and it doesn't nothing to me. Now I feel guilty if I just... I could go bitter with people for years, don't talk to them. We go by and I feel in conviction. I got to call them. I got to pray for them. Got to bless. That's when you know you're being sanctified. You're moving away from worldliness and you're becoming more godly in your life. Y'all all right? I tell you this was going to be boring today. Because when God is first and preeminent in your life, watch this, you no longer live for what satisfies and pleases you. You live for what satisfies and please him. So there's some things I am in my flesh satisfied with that when I read God's word, I say he don't like. So I try to bring my life into alignment with what pleases God even when I don't necessarily like it. Because here, y'all, let's be honest now, there's some things God wants you to do, you just don't feel. This whole side lying. Wouldn't say nothing. Cox, I see you over there. I thought you was going to have them honest, man. Stand up on your feet if there's some things about Christianity you don't like, that you know you have to do. But I like having to do it. Okay. All right. I can work with y'all then. Now, I know the praise team ain't saved, so I understand. I was in shock. Y'all continue to pray for them. Donnelly, continue to pray for them. They need Jesus. But ladies and gentlemen, and don't fool yourself. And here's the thing. God knows your heart anyway. But here's the kind of God we serve. He is not a God judging you and beating you over your head. He's a God walking with you and working with you and allowing you to go through the process of growth and development, taking it one day at a time. Don't mind these holy rollers trying to make you feel you get saved today and you got to be deep tomorrow. Because half of them ain't deep, they dumb. And making a fool out of God. He's a loving, caring Father who will help you toward spiritual maturity. That's why the prodigal father didn't judge him when he returned. He said, son, at least you had the sense not to stay in your mess. At least you had the sense to say, you know what? I was living better in my daddy's house. Why should I stay out here when I could have? You need to text somebody, tell them, man, come home. Send somebody a message, tell them, come home. Don't make your children feel they can't come back when they mess up. Because you keep going back to God even though you still messed up. All right, I'm almost done. So y'all can't take much more. Neither can I. Romans 8 says these words. The flesh is enmity with God. We're talking about the idol of self now. There's several idols I want to talk about. I probably won't get to talk about this one today and get so far in it. Self-exaltation. When you promote what you want, what you prefer, what pleases you, above what pleases God. And the Bible says the flesh or self is enmity with God because the flesh likes to have its own way. But to walk in the plan of God and to walk with God, you have to grow to do things God's way. Now that's a process. That don't happen overnight. Don't mind Daphne and praying or the heavens open. Daphne come to our church and get saved straight out the club. You all see her, she prophesying and tearing up the whole church. Oh, Daphne is so anointed. No. And mommy them had to wrap something around Daphne because her clothes, she must have thought she was still in the club. But now you look at her years later. Let them see you now, Daphne. Let them see you now. She looked like a woman of God. How many of y'all celebrating your daily transformation, your daily growth, your daily progress? You're still bucking your toe, you're still falling down, but you're falling forward. Hit your neighbor, say, neighbor, fall forward. I ain't got it all together. I ain't worked it all out yet. I don't have it all down pat. But I'm telling you, one thing I'm doing is I'm making progress. Pause, I have not yet been apprehended for that which I have been apprehended. But he says, this one thing I do, I forget those things that are behind, and I reach for those things that are before, and I do what? Look at your neighbors. I don't care how many times you fall this week. You better press your way forward, because what God has for you is ahead of you, and you can't allow life to cause you to fall down and stay down. Shake your neighbor and tell him, jump back up on your feet, because God has plans for your life. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I need you to shake someone, tell them, get up, get up, get up, pick your face up, lift your head up. You got to get back. Contrary to popular opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the devil is not your greatest enemy. Nor is it minus your co-worker. And it is not your cousin. And it ain't your ex. Your greatest enemy is not the witch living down the road through the corner by the blue and green house. Who is my greatest enemy, Pastor? Your greatest enemy is you. No one can affect your life for good or bad like you can. Wherever you are in life, it's a sum total of your own decisions. I'm almost done, you know. Most people have the idea, we're talking about the idol of self, that greatness is about self. When in fact, greatness is really about service. And true service is never about self. It is always about others. You rob yourself of the best God has for you when you live for self and not for service. See, let me tell you what makes you better. When you don't live to make yourself better, but to make other people better. And as you live to make other people better, in the process, you become better. So people who stop serving, stop growing. Because you're living for self, but living for self is possibly one of the most self-sabotaging activities. I had a word for somebody. I tell you it's going to be boring. I told you, tell you. Touch your neighbor right, laugh and say, please get over yourself. Man, I know you got them degrees and you got a big house and you got them cars and, you know, the prime minister, you got the prime minister on speed dial and you got to walk around letting everybody know how wonderful you are. Most people have the idea that greatness is about self when it's really about self. And service is not about self, it's about others. Which means true service is selfless, not selfish. The greatest threat to your destiny and ultimately to your greatness in life and in God is selfishness. Or what we call in the church, fleshiness. When you fleshy, you selfish. You full of self. Wake your neighbor up because they falling asleep on me. Being fleshy is simply putting you above God and others. Being fleshy is coming to the door, seeing somebody else coming to the door, and jumping through the door rather than holding the door and letting somebody else go by, because I live to serve, not for self. This is not to suggest that you don't matter. You matter. Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart. Then he says, equally as important, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But he doesn't just promote self-love. He is not opposed to self-love, but he promotes loving your neighbor. And he has to tell you do that because it's easy to love yourself. But we struggle to love. And what we are seeing in this generation is the idolization of self. And it's shutting the heavens over us. And so God is saying, oh, you praying to me? How can you pray to yourself? You asking me to do it? How can you ask yourself to do it? I mean, since you're so big and you're so great and you're so wonderful, why don't get you to do it? In other words, it's important for you to love you, not so that you can make an idol of yourself, but so that you would know how you ought to love and treat other people. Because if you hate yourself and mistreat yourself, that's going to be your concept about how you think you should treat other people. Which means even loving yourself isn't really just about loving you. Loving yourself is also about valuing yourself as God's image, but it's really about being a conduit so that God can love other people through you. Are you all right? Listen to Matthew 23, 11 and 12 in the Message Bible. It says, do you want to stand out? Then step down. Be a servant. If you puff yourself up, you'll get the wind knocked out of you. But if you are content to simply be yourself, your life will count for plenty. Life is about destiny. God created Adam, and immediately after creating him, the first thing he gave him was his assignment. He says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and take dominion. He gave him life, then he gave him destiny. That's because assignment, ladies and gentlemen, precedes life. God had a plan for you before he made you. God told Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and I sanctified you, and I ordained you to be a prophet. God plans your destiny, then he plans the destiny, then decides who he wants to fulfill it. And then he gives them birth to get it done, because destiny is God's priority. When God created Adam, he didn't say, go have a good life, go make a lot of money, go drive fancy cars. He didn't even say, go get married right away. The Bible says, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have what? Dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. The first thing God gave Adam was destiny. God wasn't opposed to Adam having money, living his best life, or any of the joys of life, but they were not God's priority for Adam. In fact, God provided all of these things from he placed Adam in the earth, but for the purpose of helping Adam to fulfill his assignment. So every blessing you get is to help you fulfill God's destiny for your life. All the favor you praying for and all the blessings you celebrating, God's, I ain't just giving that to you so you could just live your best life. I'm doing that because I have a purpose for your life. I have an assignment for your life. I put you in this earth to get something done. And before you come back to heaven, I need to be able to say, not well lived, but well done. So the question when you see God is, what did you do? And did you do it well? Somebody say, well done. You know, they say in church all the time, I just live in the head of them faithful words. Well done. You want to hear something you did not do. Because if you hear well done, the question is, what did you do? And did you do it well? Or did you make excuses? Did you let people cause you to get discouraged and quit? Say, I ain't doing this no more. As if you was doing it for them and not for me. Well, because life is about destiny. So watch this. You complain about all what you're going through, but God is saying the things happening around you, it's discouraging you from what I have called you to do. You want me to keep doing it. But the question is, what are you doing for me? Reason most people don't have what they desire is because what they desire is not because what they desire is against God's will. In fact, God has already provided it for them. The reason why they don't see them, however, is because he connects what you desire for your life to his assignment on your life. So your desires are connected to your destiny. If you get in destiny, you will begin to see your dreams and your desires become reality. Can I say that one more time? If you get in your destiny, what is my destiny? God's will for my life, then you will begin to see the things you desire for your life coming into your life. Watch this. Some things you praying for, you don't have to pray for, you just need to get in position for. I'm going to say it one more time. So, and that's why you praying and travailing. You done 21-day fast. You're headed for a 40-day fast. Because as far as you're concerned, I can use prayer to manipulate God. God said to tell you why I healing your body and making you live longer when you can live longer just not to do my will. Y'all talk to me in the house of God today. Why I'm going to bless you when I'm blessing you just to go further and further away from my will. Why am I going to open the door for you? Might as well come back to heaven because you don't care about being on the earth because I only have you in the earth for your assignment. But the last thing on your mind is what I call you to do. But he says to tell you everything you travailing for is in your destiny. Watch this. I don't have to ask my boss to give me no money. All I got to do is show up for work. I ain't got to pray for a salary. I just got to show up to work. And God said, you praying for something that you ain't showing up for. But if you show up for the assignment, everything you desire will be connected to the assignment. Oh, but you're too selfish. You don't want to serve nobody. You don't want to help nobody. You don't want to bless nobody. You into blessing yourself. But if you could get over yourself and find yourself in God's will and say, Lord, I humble myself. Some people I don't want to deal with. Some people I don't like dealing with. But if it's your will, Lord, I wish you could let this cup pass from me. But nevertheless, you only want me to preach. Not my will, but your will be done. The miracle you believe in God for is in God's will. Yes, I gotta go. I'm out of time. But Joseph had a dream. Anybody here got a dream? Anybody see something for your life in the future that's better than where you are right now? Joseph had a dream. He saw himself becoming a great man. He saw himself one day walking with kings. He saw himself one day doing great things. He saw himself one day being a man of influence. He saw Jessica, his brothers, bowing down and worshiping, or not worshiping, but showing him reverence and giving him deference. Joseph saw himself that one day he would rule over nations. And I came to preach to somebody with a dream in your belly. Would you look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't take your dream for granted, because the thing you're dreaming about, you may think it's only a dream, but it's really God's destiny. You are passionate about some things and you keep discounting your passions and you feel like this thing that ain't gonna never happen, and people telling you you crazy and you stupid. But nobody believed that one day a foreigner from Canaan would be the prime minister in Egypt. And some people believe what you're dreaming about is impossible. But
but you need to tell them, stand back and watch my God work, because that which is impossible for men. Oh, I wish I could preach in here. Yeah, glory to God. Shake your neighbor and say, neighbor, it may be impossible for you, but it's possible with God. I want you to give God the praise for every impossible thing in your life becoming. Give me some more volume here. I'm struggling. Shake your neighbor, say it's in God's will. It's in God's will. It's in God's will. It's in God's will. So Joseph had this dream of he saw himself doing great and amazing things. But here's the point. He was blessed in his father's house, Miles, but the dream he had couldn't come to pass in his father's house. Now, in his father's house, he was the prince. He was Mr. Big Stuff. He was the boss. He was living in favor. He was living in pleasure. He was living in luxury. But sometimes the place of your comfort is not the place of your destiny. I wish I could preach to somebody in here today. And some of y'all like comfort so much that you're about to walk away from God's destiny. Right now, the thing you in may not feel too good, but honey, if it's God's destiny, that's where the dream is going to be birthed. And if you keep leaving every church and leaving every spouse and leaving every job and walking away from everyone, because I ain't putting up with that. Some things you got to put up with if you want your y'all help me preach in this place. I'll bring this house up. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, some people you don't want to deal with, you gotta deal with if you want your destiny. Joseph, I know you'd rather stay home in your father's house, because over there your father giving you a coat of many colors and blessing you with everything you want, and you ain't got no worry and you ain't got no stress. But God said, I know it's comfortable and luxurious over here, but your destiny is over here where people can't stand your guts, where people want to kill you, where they throwing you in a pit, throwing you in prison for nothing. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Wherever you are being mistreated, God said to tell you, he says, I'm going to make the stones the builders rejected, the chief cornerstone. They wouldn't call your name, but God said to tell you, man may not call it, but heaven has your name recorded. And it doesn't matter what man do, because if God be for you, who can be? I wish I could preach in here. I need somebody to give God praise in the midst of an uncomfortable situation. I strain it on this mic. Where my Lord? Please touch somebody next to you and tell them, don't let self rob you of God's destiny for you. Tell them, don't let self rob you of God's plan for you. Tell them, don't let self rob you of God's blessings for you. Because you're going, and somebody is watching me, and you're in college right now, and you want to walk away because you're being mistreated. And the person I'm talking to, you're in a predominantly white college, and you feel it's racial tension, but they don't know they buck up against a kingdom person. And when you come in kingdom power, you have the angelic hosts backing you up. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, God's sending you back up. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't retract. Don't retreat. God is on your side, and he's getting ready to open a door and make a way out of no. Your dream sometimes is connected to the thing that does not make any sense. Because the dream God gave Joseph, it would make more sense that it would have happened in his homeland. where his father was there, where his siblings were there, and everything was just set up. But God shook his life to shift his life. Ooh, I don't know I'm preaching to. That's why you can't mind the flesh, because the flesh will start telling you all kind of crazy. If I was you, I wouldn't put up with this. I wouldn't deal with this. But you have to remind the flesh, you ain't God. Jesus is Lord. I got to walk in God's will. And I got to let God order my steps. I got to let God lead me. And if God is ordering your steps, every now and then, the shepherd who leads you to green pastures would lead you through a valley. I'm the shadow of death. It's the same shepherd. Would you look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, it's the same shepherd. And if you could trust him in green pastures, you got to know how to trust him in a valley. If he's leading you, if God is ordering your steps, he'll take you through a wilderness. He led the children of Israel through a dry wilderness. And you say, Lord, why I got to go this way? He said, your destiny is connected to the thing that seems hard, that seems difficult, that's trying your soul and your very spirit. And I'm testing you to see if you can endure the hard season, so I can know how much I can put on you for the next season. Because if you can't show me that you are resilient, then I can't bless you like I want to bless you. Because if you think failure is hard, success is even harder, because you got more haters, you got more enemies, and more people trying to destroy you when they see you doing well. But I got a word for somebody. No weapon formed against you is gonna be able to. They're screaming me on this thing. Oh, I need a sound of victory in this place. The Lord said to tell you that he's going to cause your enemies to be scattered, because nothing is going to stop this next season in your... I got to get out of here. But they betrayed him, and the betrayal couldn't stop him. They put him in a pit, and the pit couldn't stop the dream. They sold him into slavery, and even slavery couldn't stop the dream. They put him in prison because a woman he didn't touch lied on him, but that couldn't stop the dream. They tried to mess his reputation up, but even that couldn't stop the dream. Because when God plans something for you, it doesn't matter how the enemy fights you. He's fighting a losing. Your enemies don't know this battle don't belong to me. This battle belongs to God. 1,000, I feel like preaching, shall fall at my side. 10,000 at my right hand, but no evil shall come near me. Shake somebody, tell him greater is he that's on the inside of me than he that's in the world. They thought they was gonna bury you, but God said to tell you, get ready to live. You shall live and not die. I need a praise in here. I need a praise. Somebody open your mouth and give God the glory, 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 glory. I feel Zion calling me to a higher place. I need somebody to give God. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, the devil ain't after you. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, the devil ain't after you. He wants the dream in you. He wants your destiny. He wants your purpose. He ain't trying to stop you. He know what you're about to do for all of these people. So he's trying to fight Benjamin. So Benjamin can't help the people. They ain't fighting Rickeno. They ain't care about Rickeno, but the devil don't want Rickeno to bless all of these people. But let them keep fighting. I ain't gonna get distracted. Look at your neighbor. Say, stay focused. Whatever you do, don't lose your focus. Whatever you do, don't shift your focus. You gotta keep moving. Let the billows roll. Let the storm clouds rise. The God of the mountain is still the God in the valley. And I don't care how it looks right now. He's a present help. He's a present help. He's a present help in the time of trouble and weeping may. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. May endure for a night. But if you're ready for joy, give God a They're not trying to kill you. They're trying to kill your destiny. And they think by messing with you, they could stop your destiny. But they don't know you and your destiny is in the hand of God. And when you're in the hand of God, ain't no man can pluck you out. But in this season, don't get even with nobody. Don't answer nobody back. I heard God saying, Rashid, vengeance is mine. I need you to look at somebody dead in the eye and tell them, this battle. Tell them this battle. You ain't talking. Tell them this battle. This cancer battle. This sugar diabetes battle. This HIV battle. Whatever battle you fight, it ain't yours. This battle belongs to the Lord. And he never lost a battle. He's the King of glory, the Lord, strong and mighty, the Lord, mighty in battle. Can I get a war cry in revolutions? I see warring angels. Christina King, I see warring angels. Look at your neighbor and say, warring angels are being deployed. They're going ahead of you this week. They're going ahead of you this week. They're going. I see warring angels. I see the war host of heaven. I see deliverance coming. I see breakthrough coming. They get ready to move obstacles, opposing forces, adversarial demons. Hey, 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 I see deliverance. Someone open your mouth. After the betrayal, after the pit, after the prison, after being lied on, after they try to mess up his reputation, Joseph still ended up in the palace. The king, God said to tell you, your destiny don't care. Your destiny does not care what they have to say and what they do. If you stay faithful to God, he's gonna make sure open doors that were closed and make ways out of nowhere. Somebody worship him in this place. I'm done. I'm out of time. I need worshipers in the room. Come on, no. Open your mouth and give him worship. God told Jehoshaphat, you don't have to fight in the battle, but you got to worship me. He said, show up and give me the praise. Give me the glory. Give me the honor. And I'll confound the enemy. I'll confuse the enemy. I'll cause them to turn against themselves. One shall put 1,000, and two of us 10,000. I need Revolution Church to go up in worship, because the enemy, Satan, your kingdom is coming down. I see glory. I see glory. Sickness has to go. Disease has to go. In the name of Jesus, Lord, release your power. Release your anointing. I call that cancer out of your breast, out of your liver, out of your pancreas, out of your intestine. I command every blood disease to dry up. I command every yoke on your mind, that stronghold on your life, to be broken, be broken, be broken, be broken, be broken in the name of Jesus. Come on, Revolution, 60 more seconds. Worship the Lord. Worship the Lord. Man, as I feel his glory in here. Worship the Lord. Your victory is in your worship. Hey! 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 I hear the Lord saying it again. You'll come, no, I hear the Lord saying it again. He said, as you worship me, I'm going to confound your enemies. I'm going to confuse every demon, every devil, every naysayer that has come against you. Come on. This is your season to reap the spoils. This is your season to take territory. This is your season to move to the next dimension. Worship him. Doors are opening as you worship him. Waymaker, come on, lift it everywhere. Everybody call him Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Come on, lift it up everywhere. Say, Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Let heaven hear your sound. Release it out of your mouth. Say, Waymaker. Waymaker, yeah. Miracle worker, yeah. Promise keeper, yeah. Light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. One more time. Say, Waymaker. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. One more time. You are Waymaker. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. The biggest part of that whole verse is, my God. Let's do it again. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light. Go back to the top. Say, my breaker. Waymaker, miracle worker. All of that. All of that. All of that. Go back to the top. Waymaker. Waymaker, miracle worker. All of that. All of that. All of that. This is the big part.
My God,
The waymaker, the miracle worker, the promise keeper, light in the darkness. I came to tell y'all, that's my God. Y'all miss it. Y'all miss it. Y'all miss it. One more time. The waymaker, the miracle worker, the promise keeper, light in the darkness. I just want all of y'all to know, my God. Would you testify to 3 people? Tell them, that's my God. He bad like that. He can make a way out of no way. He can work miracles. He can turn anything around. He can do anything but fail. That's the God I. Here's where I end though. He's not gonna fight for God's status in your life. Either you allow him to be God. See, it's like when you know who you are, you don't go anywhere and get in competitions. When you have a sense of self, you don't go anywhere and allow people to reduce you to competing. Watch this. You'll walk away first. But you say, no. There's no need for us to fight. If you want it, have it. Because anything God has for me, I don't have to compete and fight and do all of this stuff for. So if it means we have to be at odds and we have to hate each other and go through all of that, because I promise you what God has for me, I can get it done without having to beat down somebody and do all of this stuff. That's carnal, that's worldly. I just am who I am. So don't let nobody make you small and reduce you down to all of the competition. I'm not against healthy competition. I'm talking about unhealthy competition. Trying to prove something. When Jesus was on the cross and they said, if you be the Son of God, come down. You know why he didn't come down? He had nothing. If all the dead people I rose didn't prove it. If all the sick people I healed didn't prove it. If all the 5,000 people I fed with just 2 fish and 5, me coming off this cross ain't gonna prove nothing. All it's gonna do is rob me of my destiny. And you missing your destiny trying to prove a point. You bigger than that. Let me tell you, it's like when you're on government service, the government owe you certain rights and privileges. When you become an ambassador, you go away, they have to take care of your expenses. They have to give you protection. They supply you with transportation because they are doing the government's will. When you are doing God's will, he is obligated to you in the same way. So if you get out of God's will, you stop doing the government service, how you could be mad at that ambassador? They wouldn't even give me a car. That ain't for you because you ain't on government service no more. And God says, some of you allow the enemy to push you right out of kingdom service. Because the church hurt. Honey, you got to know how to be hurt and say, Lord, if you give me the strength, I'm going to do your will. And see, Mother J, God already told us, if you're going to follow me, take up your cross. I know we don't preach like this often, but I got to preach a balanced gospel. Sometimes you take up your cross. Some people be following God, just a pain-free journey. No, you got to take up your cross. The good thing is, the victories are much sweeter. Would somebody celebrate the victory that's on its way to your life? Y'all ain't believe me. I said, would somebody celebrate the victory that's on its way? I know you're being through some things, but honey, keep on going. Keep on pressing. Keep on pushing. God is not through with you yet. Now, look at your neighbor and say, this is our unselfish Sunday. This is our selfless Sunday. No, look at them and talk to them. Tell them this is our selfless Sunday. So tell them this next shout I'm about to give God, this ain't for me. I'm about to give God my biggest praise all for this service, but this next shout gonna be for you. I'm about to celebrate what about to happen in your life. I need a shout now. I need a shout. Would Revolution Church give God some glory?